Hello. Hi. Welcome to the video version of my journal. I'm Stephanie Rivers. Now, if you ask anybody if they have a list of requirements that they have for someone that they want to be their significant other, most people not only have a list, they have it memorized. Since life experience has taught us that nobody's perfect, and so there is no Prince Charming or Princess Charming, and relationships require a lot of sacrifice and negotiations. Somebody came up with this thing called the 80-20 rule. Now, I don't know if you've heard of it, but the 80-20 rule says something along the lines of most of the time in one individual, you're only going to find 80% of what you want in a relationship with that person. The other 20% is probably not going to be there. Why? Because nobody's perfect. So a lot of people then think, okay, I'll just drop that 80%er and go looking for somebody else. Well, then if you find someone else who has that 20%, guess what? They probably are missing a lot of the 80% that you left behind. So most of the time, that's why we have to compromise in our relationships with people, because you're never going to find 100% of what you want in a significant other in one person. So when I read the recent news about the creator Mara Brock Akil and her husband Salim Akil, you might have heard that he they well let me say Mara Brock Akil, she created the TV show Girlfriends, and Being Mary Jane, and what was the other show? The Game. She created those shows and a lot more, but those are three of my favorite shows that I used to watch. And Salim Akil, he also is a writer and producer type. So together, they just created this TV show that debuted on OWN for the first season. It's called Love Is. But after the second season of that show had been picked up by OWN, there was a lady who came out saying that she has been in a 10-year long affair with Mara Brock Akil's husband, and that he not only was um, unfaithful to his wife for the past 10 years with her, he was abusive to her. And so OWN has canceled the show. But it seems to me that if it is true, because also the woman, the other woman, says that she not only was in a relationship with him for the past 10 years and that he was abusive to her during that time. She claims that she is the real creator of Love Is, or at least a co-creator, so she should get some credit for that, and that Mara was aware of the relationship. And so a lot of people say, well, if my man was, I'm not going to give him a hall pass for an hour, let alone for 10 years. So it got me to thinking, if this is true, why would someone as accomplished as Mara um, allow her husband to be in an extramarital affair with someone, period, let alone for 10 years? And so I started looking at the pieces of their puzzle, because let me say, I've never met either one of them, but I've been in my own relationships, and I know how relationships can be. And so I got to thinking, maybe Mara, her husband Salim, was her 80% guy. And so probably going back to the 80-20 rule, when you have someone who is your 80%er and you have been in relationships before and you know how it goes, maybe that 20%, a part of his 20% that he was missing for her, was that he had this sexual appetite or fetish or what have you that she was not willing to be a part of. And so maybe they had an agreement. Look, you can, to keep you from sleeping all over town with different women, let's just agree that you can have one other woman to do all that kinky stuff with. And so maybe that was what their agreement was. Because at this point in their life, if it's true that it was a 10-year long relationship, their youngest son is 9 and will be 10 next year, well, this year in 2019. And so maybe, they've got 2 kids. She was pregnant with the last son. She's got shows that she's creating, and he wants to do some kinky stuff that is not on her radar. That's not on her agenda right now. So if they agree that, okay, you go off and do your thing with whoever and leave me alone and give me time to be a mama and creative and be the woman that I need, she might feels like she needs to be. And so he in turn was getting his 20% from somebody else because Mar was that 80% woman for him. So is it, I keep reading the blogs that say a lot of people are saying, well, I never would allow him to do that, or she shouldn't allow him to do that. But if you find someone who is the provider that you want them to be, that they support you in your career, they're the father to the children that you want them to be, maybe you are willing to let them have an extramarital situation to keep that part of the relationship intact. You never know what people are willing to do and what they're having to put up with in their relationship, because they make a nice picture. I mean, they look good together, and professionally, they complement each other with their skills and talents. And so why mess that up because he wants to do whatever he wants to do, kinky sex or whatever. So my whole point in bringing this up is that a lot of us get caught up, and me myself as well, we get caught up in the traditional look of what a relationship is, of what love is. And the reality is, love is what we allow it to be in our lives. Love is what we agree that it is going to be for us and our family and our relationships. And so just because their love doesn't look like what you think love should look like doesn't mean that's not love for them. So we have to be careful not to pass judgment, because a lot of us are putting up with stuff that we shouldn't be putting up with from the significant other in our lives. If somebody was to hold up a spotlight on what we are putting up with, like somebody who is probably cheating and is not providing like he should, somebody who might be not being the father to our children as they should be, somebody who might be involved in criminal activity, doing things that are detrimental to our relationship and to the family unit as a whole. And we put up with that. So don't knock them because they might have an agreement that he can have kinky sex with some girl on the side for the past 10 years. Now, I'm not even going to get into whether he was abusing her, because you probably heard all the different things that she accused him of doing, including urinating in her mouth. Okay, so why would you allow somebody to do that? I'm not even going to get into that. But my point is, aside from what she claims he was doing, if she put up with it for 10 years and she could walk away, then that's on you if you put up with that. So, whole nother subject. Anyway, I just want for us to realize that love is what we want it to be in our relationship. And love, and if it's not what you want it to be, then walk away from it and go look for or create something with someone that is what you want it to be. Because your life and your love and your relationship is what you make it, not what somebody says it is for you. So, to find out more about what I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. It's at eurweb.com. Thanks and have a super day.